It's time to talk about the trenches. It's time to talk about meme coins. It's time to talk about psychology, despair, bags being red, the environment being poor, the desperation and begging that's currently going on social media. All of that to come in a meme coin update. I want to start off by saying a big thank you to the new sponsors of this series, Pocket Protector. I'm going to leave some links down below in the description so you can go ahead and check those guys out. Haven members are going to get special access to be able to copy my trades easier through there. But a huge thank you for them for sponsoring this content. And as I said, please check the links below to make sure that you get access and get involved in one of the easiest and best performing Telegram bots that there are out there. The coverage today is really about the environment of meme coins. And I've got this very zoomed out view of Popcat to start the discussion off. And I want to discuss a number of things through here in the way that the environment is currently positioned, the way that meme coins have been taking a pounding for a good length of time now and have certainly been the recipients of one of the kind of more crushing market corrections that we've seen. And I want to speak about the participants themselves and the way that the environment is changing and the way that the feelings within the environment are changing as well, and kind of look towards what we want to see in the future in order to change the way that this currently looks for people. So we'll start off by, just kind of giving this zoomed out view of Popcat here. And really, this is a chart that is mirrored across all meme coins that we've seen independently of those markets that have moved very hotly in a short span of time and that are, maybe not even outliers to this, but, have their little moment in the sun before they inevitably follow this same path. And what this speaks to is the current environment, which is overloaded with meme coins. Okay, it's overloaded with tickers. There's too much choice for people to make. There's not an ability to establish any sort of higher time frame consolidations, regions of demand, or even to start to have some of the authentic kind of community building that we have come to expect over the last 6 months with some of these meme coins. Everything at the moment is way too hot. And what I mean by that is that something will launch very, very well. We'll see an initial uptick, and within 12 hours, that market is typically Christmas tree down the other side. And when I talk about Christmas treeing, I'm talking about a price action chart that goes like this and then goes like this. Okay, we just basically have that Christmas tree pattern, and this is the way that price action unfolds. And usually this is done over the course of like 12 hours, right? That's it. You get 12 hours of this. You get your opportunity to take your profit, and if you don't, then you're basically negative 90% on this position. And this really is symptomatic of the way that this environment has changed and adapted and certainly ramped up in aggression over the course of the last probably 3 months. The amount of tickers that are now being produced, the amount of choice that is available for people, and the amount of money that has been lost, obviously, is pretty dramatic. And all of that goes to support the thought process that I gave you in the early videos for this series, which is around market selection being so important and starting to have some better criteria for meme coins so you aren't just pissing away money. That's a really important factor to the way that this environment is. The other thing that this environment has gone to show is that the staleness of coins is moving very quickly. So there are a lot of markets that are becoming stale very quickly. And we used to have a situation, and again, you kind of like have put on my boomer hat for this, but we used to have a situation where we had our meme coins and they were our established meme coins, and those meme coins hung around. They had stickiness, they had appeal, they had some sort of lasting staying power. Whereas the current environment, you can even see in the older iterations now, Popcat, Whiff are both probably considered as like boomer coins now. Right? That cycle of these being the latest, hottest things has suddenly dropped. Even looking at stuff like Pepe, which has probably now solidified itself more into that kind of, blue chip meme coin alt category, still feels old in terms of discussion. Whereas we've now got things that have 24 hours of popularity. They feel as though the entire, kind of universe within Twitter is talking about it, and then suddenly they disappear off the face of the earth when the next hot 24-hour meme coin comes in. So this rotation of money is pretty much impossible to keep up with, and it's also going to be costing you a lot of money in terms of trying to keep up with that. We've seen the way that kind of meme coin trading has developed and evolved from something that you would take technical setups for. You would have something that you could assign your risk parameters to. You could set up a nice position for it with a stop loss and everything else. Whereas now it's a case of hunting what is going to migrate. It's about hunting stuff that's launching at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25k market caps and trying to move in on those before they move to 150k market caps and dumping everything. The environment is way more aggressive, and it's way more difficult to put money and to sit with money in these things. And there's a range of reasons for that, and it's the part of the video now where I start to get pissed off in terms of the discussion around the way that this has started to evolve. The environment right now is a pure gamble territory for the majority of people that are operating in that way. Now, of course, the side of that is that everybody says this is a casino and we've got what we asked for and it is a pure casino. The problem is that your odds are infinitely worse here in this casino than they are in a real life casino. Like, fuck it, just throw this out, go take a 50-50 on red or black, and your odds are, infinitely higher in doing so at a casino than they are from doing so in what we're experiencing now. And so the actual opportunity for making money is so minuscule if you operate in a way that is around trying to snipe things early. Because all you're doing is pumping money into a shit pit of coins that is in an ongoing rotation in which the participants give zero shits about actually holding or maintaining. Because not only is the market aggressive in terms of selling off, but the participants themselves are also starting to adopt this process of get in, get your little bit of gains, and get out again. And so even the participants within that are operating in a way in which essentially that aggression in build-up of price action isn't really happening because participants just want their cash and then they want to get out. Now, again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that side, but you need to have a personal appreciation that that side is difficult to play. It is a side that warrants or has the ability to lose you a lot of money. And so you need to be aware of that before you step into it. And if you want to try and take that shot because you want to try and hit a home run, that's completely your decision. But there's a smarter way to go about this. And that's what we've been doing so far in this series, is the discussion of the smarter way of going about this. And the other part that I just want to start making on this, and really to do with like the psychology as well. And we've covered some of that psychology off so far in terms of the meme coin discussion, but I really think that the current environment, centralized exchanges are murdering meme coins, absolutely murdering meme coins. We used to have situations in which larger exchanges used to wait significant lengths of time often in order to list things and to add perps contracts for them. And perps contracts have a big effect on the market, and they have a big effect when you add them into a spot-only market. And they have a big effect when you add them into something in which is kind of territory for, kind of non-VC environment for operating in, but still the ability for people to capture larger supply shares of a particular coin. So exchanges as it stands, this really is a gold rush for them. And it's a gold rush because what they're looking at doing is beating each other to listing the hottest new meme coins. And really what this changed with for me was actually Chillguy. This was the last coin that I remember that had some longevity pre-listing. Okay, so there was a patch of time around November where this ran on chain, and it ran super aggressively, and everybody remembers Chillguy because a lot of people made a lot of money on it, and it was a really good indication of a market that ran aggressively before it got its perps listing. Okay, and we were still around this time where exchanges wanted to list, but there was almost an element of additional due diligence that was taking place on exchanges before we got the listings. I'm just going back to a Chillguy chart on the other side of this to take a look at this. Yeah, Chillguy launch was the 15th, and Binance didn't list until the 27th. And the 27th obviously was the absolute Pico top. and just down only ever since. And really, this market represents the way that the meme coin environment changed during that time, and why I think that the interactions and the actions you perform in the meme market need to change as well. Exchanges are now just trying to beat each other to listing these coins. Like I said, with Chillguy here, you had a patch of time that was 12 days from launch to Binance listing. Locations like Bybit are listing even more aggressively, and the environment now is encouraging places to list after fractions of that time has elapsed. Currently, centralized exchanges are looking at listing things. Basically, if you have 6 hours of volume and you have interest on social media, centralized exchanges are looking at listing markets. And that's because centralized exchanges want to try and keep pace with on-chain. They want to attract customers, and they don't want you as the end user to miss out if you're not operating on-chain or you want exposure through their exchange into some of these markets. Customer acquisition and customer retention wise, I completely see the argument. However, it's having a huge negative impact in terms of the coins that are being listed and actually what the end user experience is. Binance and Bybit listing all this shit and making it seem like something that you want to be a part of is actually just killing these markets off completely, and it's costing the end user a lot of money as well. Every single coin that you look at and you go through those listings since November has just looked like this. It's garbage. And it's because they are just listing things to be able to attract customers without any real shits for what these projects are doing and the actual staying power of any of these projects. There are so many coins that were listed between November and January, which in 6 months' time will just be delisted by these exchanges because nobody cares about them. Centralized exchanges can't keep up with this path of aggressive listings. It's simply irrelevant to them. They get their small volume boost, but at the end of the day, they're just going to end up with a load of dead markets because nobody's interested. Nobody cares about Chillguy anymore. It was all of the discussion in November, December. Nobody cares about it right now. Will this market ever recover? Probably not. Like, why would this market ever recover? What's the reason for this market to ever recover? There is not. It's been down only since listing. There's nobody that's interested in this. And there's 3 million new alt tickers produced since this was created. What's the point in getting involved in this chart anymore? It's so stale and old after 3 months. So once again, you see that process that we discussed right at the very start. If things are getting stale, and initially things would get stale after maybe 12 months, when Pepe, Whiff, Popcat came about, sure, it made like Doge and Floki and Bonk look older, right? Even though they're the blue chips and the ones that kind of in this space for meme coin exposure that feel a little bit more stable and secure. But those market releasing made that feel stale. But that took a good length of time for those markets to establish themselves. And now you get a situation where you have Chillguy, and Chillguy looks as though suddenly it's going to be, the meme coin that everybody wants and everybody wants to talk about. In 3 months, it's completely dead and nobody cares. The actual lifespan of meme coins is greatly reducing, and we're now in an environment where things have essentially 24 hours before they're done. Okay, and again, you see examples of some of the more recently listed shit that we have here. You have stuff like Vine. And Vine basically had from the 25th of January, it had 1 day of upside into just consistent death. Right? It's another example of one. Didn't even have any movement. 30th of January, all the way down, 14th of February, dead. Right? Done. Finished. So as a meme coin trader and psychologically in this environment, you have to go back to what we discussed on the early videos for this. You have to think about a way that is more sustainable if you don't want to be involved in the gambling element in terms of the overly degenerate gambling element, and you want to start thinking about things from a more longevity-focused perspective. So thinking about the ways that we can use TA to support the outcomes here. We can use some educated decision-making and some parameters around our trades in order to try and make a profit. We have to use better criteria for identifying what meme coin markets we want to partake in. We want to be using things now that have some signs of life, that have volume, that have some sticking power, that have some relevance culturally within the community that we're in. It is an environment where you can just sort of, pick the latest hot thing, because the latest hot thing is going to be killed by a centralized exchange as soon as it's listed. As soon as it's listed, it enables people to take the short side of these markets. And, you may be sat there thinking, well, why don't you just short these markets when they're listed? That's fine for somebody like me. Maybe I would look at that approach. However, for the majority of people, the way that these coins are positioned and mentally the way that that participants are fixed on these markets is getting long. You've seen people make 1,000,000% in terms of gains. You've seen people turn $100 into $500,000. You don't want to get short on them. You want to buy them. And centralized exchanges know that. They know that when they list these things, that because the audience want to purchase them. They don't want to list them because they know the participants want to get short. Right? And that's the outcome that we see every time here. And then obviously the other major negative reaction and negative side effect to this is that it allows those with a larger percentage of the supply to immediately hedge their position and to lock in that profit. There's now no reason anymore to be able to actually hold on to that supply. You're now perfectly hedged. And actually, in the majority of situations, it just enables you to balance and hedge your position until this market starts selling off, in which case you let go of your supply, you ride the short position, you've profited on both sides. So it's an aggressive environment. The Memecoin rotation, again, it's going to come down to you. I don't want to sit here and try and tell you how to trade. I'm going to present the way and my views that I feel about the market, but it's completely down to you. I think you just need a better awareness of the way that the Memecoin market currently is. And this is really the bird's eye overview for where we are. The focus of this series is very much to keep you on the technical analysis side of things, to keep us on the markets that have health and they have some longevity and they still have the ability to produce significant returns, because that's why we're here. That's why we're operating in this environment, because these coins can move to such a good degree that we don't necessarily need to snipe the new launches. If we're hitting markets that are producing multiples and we can do that consistently, we don't need to throw our cash away trying to hit all of these fresh launches, migrating contracts, graduating contracts, because we can actually operate with far better boundaries and take advantage of the volatility of the trenches instead of just having to play the scratch card game when it comes to stuff that is just launching. So a lot more to come in this series. And once again, thank you to Pocket Protector for the sponsorship. Please check out the links down below. Please subscribe. Some huge benefits coming on the way for subscribers as well. And next time, we're going to dive into independently looking at some of the best looking meme coins that have that health, that have those technical setups, and that enable us to start thinking about making returns from the volatility in an educated and process-driven way, not just pissing money into the on-chain action that's currently unfolding.